Good morning and welcome to Edgewater Ranzal's webinar series. Today's webinar dives into the various techniques and options for leveraging HFM data in Essbase and Planning and demonstrates the value in doing so, and it is hosted by Werder. Our webinar series targets specific customer interests related to business analytics solutions that include Oracle Hyperion Enterprise Performance Management, Business Intelligence, and Big Data. So we'd like you to email us at seminars@ranzal.com with topics that you'd like to see covered. During the presentation, we encourage you to submit questions in the right-hand panel on your screen, and we will do our best to respond at the end of the presentation. Edgewater Ranzal provides holistic business analytics solutions that help organizations to define, measure, and innovate their business, provide a clear vision, and drive business value. We have resources and clients located throughout the United States, Canada, and Europe. Our team of over 200 employees has years of industry-specific experience and has earned numerous and varied software certifications. Excuse me. Services we provide support all facets of Oracle Enterprise Performance Management, Business Intelligence, and Big Data Solution Delivery, including consolidation and reporting with the Financial Close Suite, Enterprise Planning, Profitability and Cost Management, and Business Intelligence Applications and Technology. And we offer supporting services for infrastructure, data services and integration, training and support services, and project management. For additional details about Edgewater Ranzal, visit our website, www.ranzal.com. Edgewater Ranzal celebrates 20 years this year as a leading business analytics service provider and was recently recognized by CIO Review magazine as one of the 100 most promising big data solution providers. Ranzal also recently received the 2016 Partner Achievement Award for Outstanding Success in the category of Big Data. For the third year in a row, Edgewater Ranzal has been recognized by the Commonwealth Institute and More Research as the 5th largest woman-led business in Florida and is ranked in the top 10 for each of the last 5 years. Finally, Edgewater Ranzal's recent acquisitions of M2 Dynamics and Chicago-based Branchbird, both Oracle partners, have facilitated Ranzal's expansion of business analytics solutions consultancy services in the West Coast and Southern regions of the United States, and big data and big discovery solutions to complement the EPMA BI suite offerings. Today's presenter is Werder. Werder is a practice manager at Edgewater Ranzal, practice director, excuse me. Randy has spent over 20 years as a developer and consultant for EPM technology. He is a certified professional in both Hyperion Planning and Essbase, and his implementation experience spans multiple industries, including manufacturing, retail, healthcare, financial services, and utilities. Randy, I'll turn it over to you now.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to apologize in advance that I'm a pretty big Cubs fan, so if my voice cracks or I have to pause for water, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I'm going to do that a couple times today. Other than that, I hope to have a pretty successful chat here about moving some HFM data over into Essbase for some analytics. So pretty tight agenda today. It's pretty focused. We're going to talk about the advantages of moving HFM data into planning and Essbase, planning Essbase. We're going to explore the options. Some of the common options for moving the data between the applications, and then we'll loop in our cloud friends and kind of explain a little bit of the implications with the cloud on what is available there compared to an on-prem traditional implementation. So let's jump right in and have some fun. So the advantages of moving HFM data into planning Essbase. All right, so everybody likes HFM's a phenomenal consolidation tool. It's not generally regarded as an analytical tool. So part of the reason we move the data out of there into an Essbase world is using the right tool for the right job. HFM focuses on close, Essbase is traditionally better for your slicing and dicing and analysis. So the advantage of moving that data into an Essbase world really lets the right tool perform the right job. Obviously, like I mentioned, it focuses on the close. HFM can close, let it do its work, and then the data can come over into Essbase and do the analysis from there. Additionally, a lot of people try to bring the data, like say from planning, they try to bring their forecast data into HFM, or they bring things to HFM that isn't traditionally put in there. It's not, I wouldn't say wrong, but frowned upon, whatever word you want to use. Not the best place to put it. So by moving the data over, the reconciliation points between all the applications allow you to tie that data set across all these apps, so you're comfortable in the data integrity, and you don't have to move everything to HFM. You don't have to do any actual forecast or budget comparisons in HFM. Those reconciliation points and tie-out points kind of give you the data integrity comfort that you need. And lastly, the ability to compare actual data from HFM to many different data sets. Like I said, you move it over to Essbase, you can bring in lots of different forecast, budget, any other cubes or any other data that's housed anywhere in your ecosystem into Essbase, and you can get your real, true, actual data, closed data from HFM into Essbase where you can do all your analytics. Okay, so let's talk about the options for moving data. So from what I've seen in many of my years, the data movement between the EPM apps is not as seamless as you think it should be. Now, no knock on Oracle. The Oracle product or the Oracle name would kind of lead to, you can move data among the applications pretty easily because it's Oracle. It's an Oracle product. Well, it's not necessarily true. It's they're all the same product. However, the technology behind the scenes is a little bit different. The technology behind HFM and how they store data is a little bit different the way that Essbase stores data. So to be able to bring that together is not as easy as you would think. So what we do is we try to bring that HFM data into Essbase to have a common platform and whatever through some common options that I'm going to go through. So the solution to do that is it varies on many different factors: the volume of data, the resource availability, cost. There's a lot of different factors on what your solution will be to pull that data out of HFM and bring it into Essbase. There's a lot of little factors come into play here. So when I go through these common options between Extended Analytics, EAL, ODI, SmartView, the FDMEE Data Sync, there's no, it really depends on your situation for which choice you make. There's pros and cons of each, which we'll go through, and then we'll hopefully find the best solution for you. So let's move into the different options. So let's talk about Extended Analytics. So of the 5 options I'm going to go through, Extended Analytics actually comes with HFM. It's no additional license costs. It takes the data out into a flat file or star schema. It puts it out into an area very simply. It comes inherent through HFM, and it puts it out there to be consumed by whatever, sometimes a data warehouse. You can consume it into Essbase and so forth. So this is a very good tool or good process to get the data out. The cons I would like to bring up with Extended Analytics would be there's no mapping. So it exports data out from HFM. However, it doesn't map it into, say, a higher level of detail that you have in planning, or a different dimension structure. It doesn't do any of that. It just spits the data out. So what it does is it pops the data file out there. It's not really used for analytics. It's used for consumption. So great tool to get the stuff out. However, it doesn't give you any robust functionality to kind of map that or analyze on that data. All right, so let's move to EAL. So EAL, the Essbase Analytics Link, a lot of people don't know about. So EAL basically takes a snapshot of HFM in real time, and it puts it in an Essbase cube. So if you make a change in HFM, dynamically the Essbase cube updates with that change. Very, very, very powerful tool to be able to have your HFM data readily available in Essbase. You can do queries, slice and dice. You can do anything off of this Essbase cube, which is a replication of your HFM application. So extremely powerful, good tool. It's ready to go. It comes with HFM. It's a really good option. The only con that I've heard about the Essbase Analytics Link is that the long-term roadmap for EAL is unclear. Some people, there's been rumors around that it's potentially going away. I've heard that. It's never been confirmed by Oracle, but some people have mentioned that. The long-term roadmap is a little bit unclear on that. Other than that, it is a really, really, really good option to get the data right into Essbase. Once it's in Essbase with the EAL link, you can partition it. You can consume that data in any other cubes. So it's a good, powerful option if you'd like to get the data out of HFM into Essbase. ODI. Okay, so ODI is a very powerful tool that works with a lot of volume of data. It does mappings very well. I guess the word on the street, if you're a consultant, ODI sometimes is known as too powerful. It's almost a sledgehammer to kill a fly. So this isn't a great option for a lot of clients because it's just too much. It's too powerful. It's just it's too I guess IT-centric or cumbersome to kind of set up for moving a small volume of data. So that gets me into the pros and cons. It's great for large volumes of data. It allows you to do powerful mapping for complex environments. So if you're moving your HFM data into multiple Essbase cubes and you're moving it around to different dimensionality, and you're doing a lot of data movement within your solution for your company, then ODI is an excellent choice. A couple slight cons about it: it is an additional license cost. It generally sits within the IT area, so it's IT driven, not finance. So what that means is the development can be a little cumbersome and requires some consulting resources. Some people have told me that it is a little complicated for traditional finance and accounting folks. Not to say the accounting and finance folks aren't technical, but I have heard that, so you really have to loop in your IT. That said, you know, the counter, like I said, the pro is you're really getting a lot out of this tool to be able to move around. So one of the options for getting your HFM data is using ODI to bring that out and putting it anywhere that you'd like. Okay, SmartView. So this is the worst option. I'm just going to say it right there. SmartView is an awesome product. It is pretty much where you do all your ad hoc, slice and dice. Everybody's familiar with Excel. It's easy to use, but to use the get vals and to get the information out of HFM and then locking and sending it into an Essbase cube is just a bad idea as far as data integrity. I have to mention it, and it is on one of the options because it probably is the easiest, is if you retrieve your data out of HFM and then you can put that and lock and send it, or submit it, I should say, into a Essbase cube. So again, super easy to do. Pull the data out of HFM and then put it right into an Essbase cube. Very manual process, no mapping functionality whatsoever. And sometimes those get vals can be a little bit tricky to set up the first time. Lastly, we have the FDMEE data sync. So I saved this one for last because it's traditionally the most popular, and it's also probably the best option I see for moving data from HFM into your planning Essbase world. It comes with FDMEE. There's no additional cost. It provides you the ability to map the data from HFM to planning in Essbase. So, and this is probably one of its biggest strengths, is Your HFM data is usually at a different level of detail than your planning environment. So it gives you the ability to map that actual data into your planning structure within the tool itself. So you basically press a button, and once you define those maps, it takes your closed HFM actual data and puts it right into the planning environment. That, of course, allows you to do your analytics and your comparisons to budget to actual and so forth. One thing also that's coming, I believe it's coming soon. I know the drill back into FDMEE is available, but they are actually moving towards the drill back capabilities right back into HFM details. So you can drill from your other applications right back into HFM. It's not available yet, but that's what I hear is coming. I'll say cons for the data sync, although that's I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a huge negative, but I have to bring up some concerns, or some people have mentioned that data sync works better with smaller volumes of data. Now, I'm not talking like 5 records here. I mean, I'm talking, if you're using massive amounts of volumes of data, it can be a little bit slow. But remember, I'm not saying small where it only works with like a tiny little data set. It does work with a pretty good size amount of data. I'm just saying if you have massive data, the data sync can be a little slow. Additionally, remember when I talked about ODI and the powerful mapping capabilities with different dimensionality across applications and so forth? FDMEE has that as well. However, if there's a lot of differences between your dimensionality and applications, the build time for that can increase slightly in FDMEE data sync. And then lastly, it's a con because a lot of people aren't on the latest version, but it is only available in 11.124 and later. It is not available anything before that. So FDMEE data sync, probably the most common, the best way in anybody who has the latest version to move data across from HFM into any planning Essbase cube. Then we'll talk about the cloud. So everybody wants to know about the cloud. Cloud. Okay. So, okay, great. I have an on-prem. Thanks for those data options, you know, blah, blah, blah. What about the cloud? So you have the cloud. Well, ODI and EAL are not available in the cloud. So that just takes 2 of them off your plate right there. SmartView and EA, Extended Analytics can be used, but it has the same limitations that I've gone over already in those slides. So those are there in the cloud, but again, same issues and pros and cons. In the cloud, they really move towards, I think it's FDMEE Lite, but the FDMEE data sync is regarded as the best solution in the cloud. So everything in there kind of talks to each other. The data sync obviously comes with the cloud, and then that's what most people in the cloud use as they define their mappings and move their stuff around the environment right there. It also works if you have an on-prem HFM application. You can move data and data sync from the on-prem into a cloud environment, such as a planning application on the cloud. You can move your on-prem HFM into the cloud with data sync. And that, my friends, is the quick and dirty options to get the data out of HFM into planning and Essbase. So I think I would like to turn it over to questions, Mr. Joe, if there's anything out there for anybody to ask.
Thanks, Randy.
Sure.
I don't, okay, nothing's coming through yet, but you know, questions can be submitted through the right-hand panel on your screen. And if you don't mind switching over to the next slide, I will just mention upcoming webinars as well, and that'll give us time for any questions to come in if they do. Also want to note that questions can also be emailed to us at seminars@ranzal.com, and we can respond to you that way via email or contact you directly if you prefer. A recording of this webinar will be available on our website shortly, where you may also find a number of previous webinars posted. We still have a number of webinars before our 2016 program concludes, and they cover a range of both topics and products. Our next webinar is on Tuesday, November 8th, and it highlights HFM's latest version's features and functions and demonstrates why it's time to upgrade your current version. Following that, on Thursday, November 10th, we're hosting a webinar to demonstrate the ways in which Account Reconciliation Cloud Service can be used to effectively speed up the close cycle with auto reconciliations, flexible formats, and reporting and analytics. Additional webinars later this month will cover such topics as the main components of process management and Hyperion planning, and streamlining the consolidation and close process using Financial Consolidation and Close Cloud Service. Visit our website to find and register for a webinar that interests you. Before I wrap up, I'm going to check one more time here because I think a question did come through. Okay, let me present this to you, Randy, and see if we can get a response to this question. Can ODI connect directly to HFM to provide bidirectional data movement?
Yes, it is capable of connecting to HFM and moving data back and forth between the apps. So if you wanted to bring the planning data in HFM, you could do that with ODI.
Okay. And then an additional note related to this, EA provides a nice export to relational tables, but what about automating common data loads?
Automating common data loads with EA or with anything in particular. So I mean, automating data loads. I mean, you can bolt on with FDMEE or whatever. You can bolt on the automation component to be able to load those. So I think you're asking, like, if you export out the data from EA and you put it out there somewhere, can you do some sort of automation to pick that file up and load it into another application? Certainly you can do that. There's a couple different ways to do that. You know, you can use, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of mapping capabilities, so it's difficult unless the dimensionality is the same, but you certainly can automate the pickup of file and loading it anywhere.
Okay, thank you. Can EPMA Data Sync be used?
So EPMA Data Sync is yes, that's the old way to say the FDMEE Data Sync. I think that's what replaced it. But yes, in the older versions, you can use the EPMA Data Sync. And I didn't mention that because I kind of only focused on the latest versions. But yes, the predecessor to the FDMEE Data Sync is the EPMA Data Sync, and that can be used, similar to what the FDMEE Data Sync is.
Okay, great. Is ODI part of the latest version of FDMEE, version 11.1.2.4?
ODI is not part of the FDMEE suite. It's a separate, I think, a separate licensing cost on its own.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Additional questions can be emailed to us at seminars@ranzal.com. and we will respond to you directly. You know what? Since we have we have a couple of minutes. We have actually more than a couple of minutes, but there was another question that just came in. What is the best way to move data in Hyperion when the source data is not coming from HFM like Cognos?
In that case, a lot of people use ODI if they have it. If it's already in the ecosystem and they have it, they use ODI to move that data, consume it that way. That's probably the best I've seen. If you don't have ODI, it's probably some sort of use case with FDMEE is you'll take that data extract from whatever it is, Cognos or wherever, and a template load from FDMEE into the target system is what I've seen is probably the most common solution I've seen. So extract out of Cognos, put it somewhere, FDMEE will consume it and bring it into the new target system, and that way you can place your mappings on top of it, which is why FDMEE is used.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you to our audience for joining us today, and thanks to Randy for sharing your knowledge and expertise during this presentation. That concludes today's webinar. Thank you.